Hello and welcome to my second behind the scenes video. This time with Silo, Frigate and Surface 2 and Bunker 2. And I think, don't wasting time, let's get started. So let's begin with Silo and the starting point. Maybe you remember that on N64 here is the starting point, and maybe you remember that there is a ladder, like in the original. That could mean that Bond infiltrates the Silo complex with another entry and infiltration point. So I decided to let the player start earlier and walk through a little basement part. Yes, I think that's cool. And the next part in this silo rocket, this rocket silo, are these lights here. Look like a circle light, but in reality these are bars. Big light bars. I added them later because I didn't even knew it is possible to make these light bars. I had no imagination how I could make this real. But later in my revise of this level, I decided to make these light bars because in the original these light bars are there too. And from outside it looks a bit funny, but from inside it has a cool look and is stylish, I think. Okay, next part. These rooms here are every time very similar, and here are my biggest change in while my development. While I built Silo, Ubisoft made the update with the invisible walls. So while building Silo was my very first tests to make my own stairs, like I said in the first behind the scenes video. But here it was the very first time I used this to make own parts, because the original stairs are too wide and would make this room too small. The next thing is a bit funny. This working, I don't know, this working machine looks pretty cool because I added just a few fans to make them animated. That's all on this part, but that's a cool example how you can use objects for different reasons. The next thing I changed in compared to the original game is that I thought some of the rooms are too boring, too empty. So I decided to make a bit more action. So this silo room looks like there had happened an explosion and an accident. In the original, here's just an empty room with a bridge, and I think that's pretty cool because you can look up and see the sky at this point. And I scripted some explosions if you hit this trigger box, and it's a bit darker at this point. Not exactly like the original, but I think a bit freedom for me and for myself to change some things is really okay. The last part in Silo is interesting because if you remember, or I will show it, if you remember, here will happen an explosion. If you hit the trigger box, you have to destroy this little satellite. So if I hit the box, there will start a sound and fire with the light, and later it will happen an explosion, and this will destroy the wall. Looks pretty cool, and exactly what I want, that explosions influence the the walls and doors here in the room. And how did I make that? Well, I will show it. One moment. So, this is the wall you can see before the explosion starts, and this yellow highlighted wall is a destroyable object. So if I take it away, you have only this part here with the door hole inside, and it can destroy complete. And behind this wall, I already built this destroyed wall. So if I took more and more destroyable objects away, you will see how it looks after the explosion. That's a little trick, and I think it's pretty cool and worked fine. So that's the magic behind the explosion and the cool looking destroyed wall. And the view out of bounds of this level will show you another thing. Maybe you are wondering why I added so big platforms here. And the reason is simple. I need shadows. The thing is, if I delete this, you will see it here as example. In this hallways, you will see a bright sun at this point. But why? I mean, you can see the textures here. The thing is, these cave parts are textured just on one side, and if I look from outside, you cannot see any texture. And that means that the sunshine shines through this wall, and you have the lights directly in the hallway here, and that looks terrible. And so how it looks with these platforms here upside. So that's the reason I added big platforms here. And that's the view from outside with the little wood, the 4 towers, I said. Yes, so it's time to continue to freak out, I think. The next problem I had is the starting point. Not the starting point at this little boat here, no. The starting point I added to each level of my versions. And that's the starting point with these big black box. With mission objectives, they are showed for you, and that was a bit difficult here, because if I added the box somewhere here on this world map, you will be able to see it from the ship, and that was not my goal, that you can see anything except this little island here. And if I would put this black box underwater, so you have the problem of the lights, and maybe you will not survive because you didn't have any air. So I decided, and I'm happy that I could find any place for this. I decided to add this black box inside the ship, and I don't even know where I added this. Oh man. Yes, here it is. It fits very good, but it's a closed thing. So you can see these objectives here, and yes, it's directly under this helipad here. It's very close, but it works. So you're in air, you can survive, you have your mission objectives, and after this you will spawn directly here at the boat. And yes, it's one of my favorite levels because of the big amount of details, but I had no other problems here. I think what is really cool is the lighting here, and yes, even I said, the details. I love this level. Okay, I think we can continue to Surface 2 and Bunker 2. So you're wondering why I have to tell about you something about Surface 2 and Bunker 2, even we had these 2 levels in my first video. Well, there are two reasons. The first one is I forgot something to tell about in my first video, and the second thing is the sequence. I changed the sequence of these two levels because in the original game you played Surface 2 first and then visit Bunker 2, and in my version you started in Bunker 2 and play through Surface 2 backwards. So one time again, I will change the daytime so you can see more. So I think that's okay. So the first thing is I forgot to tell about in the first video, and that's the little corner here. If you go right through the normal entrance of Bunker, so maybe you remember in the original game you have to enter the bunker here and can go straight ahead upstairs. No, downstairs to bunker. But in my version you have a little corner here. So why I made this? The reason is simple. The original game is wrong. So if you remember in Surface 1 you infiltrate the bunker through this point here. You break apart and jump down to this bridge. But this doesn't work in the original game. In the original game it works because that's our two separate levels, but I combined these two levels to one level, and then this will not work. If I would rebuild these bunker in like the original, the entry point had to be I don't know, maybe here or something, here around. That's a little mistake of the original game. I had to turn the whole bunker to 90 degrees, so that's the only way to make it possible that you can infiltrate the bunker via this pipe or this entry here. So that's the only way, and that's why I had this little corner of the entry, the normal entry of bunker. The next thing is why I switched the sequences of these two levels. Well, in the original game you start Surface 2 exactly like Surface 1 at this point here behind the wood, and fight through Surface will get to this bunker entry, and you will capture it by guards and go to prison. That's the original, and that would be okay if I decided to make two separate levels, but yes, even I said I combined these two levels to one level, and in Far Cry 5 I'm not able to make scenes both with texts or scripts, animations, whatever, what can tell you what happened here at this place. So the only possibility would be to let the player go right here, hit the trigger box and teleport directly to the prison. That could work, but the problem here is you have no reason why are you in prison now without anyone who captured you or something, and everyone who played the original, maybe he recognized what happens, but everyone who don't even know the original game will not even know what happened here. So the next problem is, yeah, maybe you will spawn in this prison, but you have all weapons. What you got in the surface level. So that's not real. You can't go captured and have all weapons already. So I decided to let the player directly start in the prison, and you have to throw knives, which even spawn here. I think directly. I don't know anymore. There are spawn already every time there spawns knives, and you have to throw them to this button here, and you'll be free. So and then you play backwards. That's my decision to make this level, and I got some feedback that is that's a cool thing to change or to switch the sequences of these two levels. So that's it for this time, and I think the next video behind the scenes will launch next week. And until then, I wish you nice days and a nice week, and we will see ya. Bye bye.